Hey everyone, and welcome back to our channel. So, if you've made it through college or even through into your early 20s, you or someone you know has probably had one of these four-top bar height tables. And shortly after college or after you got married, that table has been passed on or sold off. Well, in our case, we have had it for 10 years into our marriage and well through college. So now, we finally decided that it was time to build ourselves a decent sized dining table. So come on, and I'll show you how we built ours. For our table, we decided to skip the 3D modeling and just went with a good old-fashioned hand sketch for our plans. As with most woodworking projects, we started with rough lumber. We chose to go with ash for our table just because it had some pretty cool grain and features, but we also had some of it in inventory in our lumber shed. Now you can just enjoy this montage of us cutting, joining, planing, and cutting, joining, and planing each one of our pieces. I will note that while it is nice to have big machines like this in your shop, it is definitely not a necessity. All of these were purchased to help our efficiency, speed along our process, and just make everything better for a production style shop. All of the frame pieces for the table got a pair of pocket holes on each side and then a nice round over just enough to break the edge on the side of the board that would be facing down. Now all that was left for the base construction was just to add a little glue and drive the screws home. Now, if you haven't noticed by now, I did make one minor mistake, but we'll get to that later. And voila, we have a base. Now onto the tabletop. We used dominoes to aid in the alignment of the top, and no, dominoes aren't required, and yes, this could have been done with biscuits, but I wanted an easy glue up, and I wasn't hungry. I cut the domino slots using the loose setting because I wanted to be able to slide the boards back and forth just so I could get that perfect alignment. Now all of the slots were cut, it was time to add dominoes and glue and leaving the clamps to bake overnight. I said I wasn't hungry. In the middle of one of the boards we had selected, we noticed there was a nice little pocket of rot, and by little, I mean it went all the way through the board. So off camera, we taped the underside of the board and added about a 1/4 inch layer of black epoxy as the base layer before we did the actual fill. After that initial layer of epoxy had set, we came back with some deep pour epoxy and Atomic Finishes Buzz pigment. Did you know it's actually made with moon dust? It really gives you a little galaxy feel. To remove the excess epoxy, we have found that it is best to use a heat gun and a paint scraper, and you can just see how it just flakes right off. We then gave the tabletop a nice sanding, and it was time to trim the tabletop to the final length. After we cut the tabletop to its final length, we decided that we wanted to give the table a slightly more modern feel, kind of a lighter feel, and chamfer the underside of the tabletop. The last step for the underside of the tabletop before finish was to carve slots for the C channel that we were going to be adding. We went with Bidwell Wooden Iron's 1/2-inch leg C channel and Rempatech hardware to secure it down. You can use our code MADDIX for 10% off your order at checkout. Now that the C-channel was installed, we flipped the tabletop over, gave the top edges a slight round over, and did the final sanding. Then it was time for finish. For the finish, we decided to go with Osmo's Pollux Oil, and it's the 3043 for the tabletop, and Sherwin-Williams Pro Industrial in the iron ore color for the base. And man, would you just look at that grain pop. if you've been curious what all the small pieces were that I've been milling and cutting and all, they're for that little bench right there to go along with the table. And now on to the mistake I made. It wasn't until after we were completely finished with all of the painting that we realized we didn't have any slots for our Z-clips that we're going to use to attach the tabletop. So now that the table base was in the house, had to bring in the biscuit joiner and the shop vac and go ahead and just cut us some holes real quick. Okay, now I'm getting hungry, but that shouldn't be a problem because with the top attached, now we have somewhere to eat. This table turned out amazing, and we love how it looks in our dining area. Alright, well that does it for this one. All the links for the tools and materials we use will be in the video description below. Don't forget you can save 10% off your next order at Bidwell Wood and Iron on C-Channel or any of their atomic finishes by using code MADDUX, M-A-D-D-U-X, at checkout. If you'd like to see more videos like this, drop us a comment, like the video, subscribe, or even share it with a friend. And until next time, see ya.